So I went to go see Nosferatu as
Ooh.
well as, and I did see The Substance also.
Mm. I also watched The Substance last night.
Okay. So what about you, Riley? Did you see either of those?
I watched Nosferatu and I just Googled a plot summary of The Substance like a month ago because I just knew I didn't want to watch it, but I wanted to know what was happening, I guess. So feel free to talk spoilers.
It was so weird. I thought it was
Yeah.
really, I thought like the first like three quarters were super strong. And then it got kind of campy, but I really enjoyed it.
Me too. I felt like there was I felt like some Carrie influence
Mm-hmm.
towards the end. Also The Shining with like that part where all the blood was running into the hallway.
Yeah.
Um and also the carpet design they used in that hallway for the movie studio, it also reminded me of The Shining. And there was one other, I feel like there was one other like old school classic horror movie that I feel like it reminded me of, but I'm blanking now. But I don't know. I Same thing. Yeah, towards the end, it was just like it. It felt like it was starting to turn into a different kind of movie, but I liked it. There was definitely a lot of that body horror. Oh, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking of. Was like the Thing and stuff with like her
Mm-hmm.
transformation towards the end. I also thought that was it was making me think of that. But I liked all the different influences that you could kind of see throughout the movie, and then I just liked how like there was kind of this social commentary on like women in the entertainment industry have so much pressure to just look a certain way, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
after you reach a certain age you're no longer valuable anymore. And I kind of like how Dennis Quaid's character is like real, like he doesn't give a fuck, and like they have that one scene in the big towards the beginning where he's just eating the shrimp and it's all gross, and it makes me think of you guys seeing all the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that guy in the third one.
Denethor. He's eating the
Yeah,
grapes. Or no, the
yeah,
tomatoes.
the grape tomatoes, yeah. And he's just like, it's so gross, and I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, oh, ew. He's just biting these shrimp, and just it's his hands are disgusting. And then there's that one scene where they're like talking to Margaret Qualley's character after like her teeth start falling out, and um all like the, I don't know, what did he call them,
Oh,
the
the
backers,
stockholders.
the stockholders, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Stakeholders.
the stakeholders of the show, or who was basically footing the bill for her to be there and all of her stuff. They're all just these like old white men, and yeah, I don't know. I like that. I thought it was really fun. But yeah, would you think, Hannah?
I thought it was really fun. I like took notes on my phone the whole time I was watching it because I knew there was a good chance we were going to talk about it. And a lot of it's just like, especially in the second half, just turns to total nonsense. Like at the end, it's my last like five lines are, "Oh, she has a final form. Oh, she has a final form. Crazy. Whoa, fountains of blood. Dude, she exploded." And that's the last of my notes. But in the beginning, I feel like I was like really paying attention to a lot of the themes and like one of the first times I took my phone out as I was like writing notes and I was like, I don't think she's spoken. The first like half hour of the movie, she barely speaks. Like you get
Wow.
a couple of sentences at most. Like there's one conversation she has with a random dude and he does almost all of the talking. Which then once I noticed it, I started paying attention and like Demi Moore's character almost doesn't speak through like the entire movie except for when she finally starts to like get upset about things and start like arguing about the specific thing. I don't want to spoil it too much if people want to watch it on their own, but I thought that was a really good like little addition to it as well because like Melody said, there's a lot of the commentary on like needing to look a specific way, but that included not like voicing really any opinions or anything. So yeah, I like actually was keeping track as it went on and she almost doesn't speak at all through the whole movie until like close to the end. The body horror was actually really bad. I like had a hard time watching certain scenes. I usually am okay with it, but I had to skip a couple things cuz I was like it just kept going. There's one bit where there's a point where a needle goes in and it starts to get infected and it was so disgusting. I like had to close my eyes and skip past it. It was like making me so grossed out. But yeah, I thought it was super good.
Yeah. I remember reading the plot summary and getting like I feel like the ending I would probably watch like if it comes to streaming. I feel like
Mm.
I mean I should just watch the whole thing, but I feel like I have a really like short attention span, but like it really picked up like as I was reading at the end. I was like, "Oh, sounds exciting." Like
Yeah.
the climax of it. I was like, "Oh." I think I
Yeah.
watched the last scene too. I think I might have googled that and that might have been on YouTube or something.
It's like there are a couple like transformations she has towards the end, and it's just like after the first one, I was like caught off guard by how how gross like the first one looked. And so like I just started laughing and I watched it with
Yeah.
Tony. And so Tony was like Tony was upset. And I think like me seeing his reaction made it funnier to me. So I just started
Hmm.
laughing harder. And then when you see her final transformation, I felt like I didn't know what to say because I wasn't expecting it to be like that, even though it's like, yeah, she's getting worse. But then also it was like just because Tony's reaction was very like, oh, what the fuck? It made me laugh even harder too. So I think towards like the last 20 minutes, I was just laughing my ass off because I was like, what the hell? What's going on? But also just because Tony was grossed out and that makes me laugh.
I thought it felt like a really good, like, I don't know that it was intentionally a throwback or anything like that, but it felt like a really good, like, practical physical effect. Just having the whole everything that was going on.
Yeah.
It definitely lent to like kind of the campier, older feeling of it. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Once she kind of turned into a more of a monster, I couldn't not be laughing at a lot of it.
Like I especially when they would add things like, they're kind of dividing the movie into sections like here's Elizabeth and then here's Sue and then here's Monstro Elizasu. Like they had like the huge text on screen and I thought that also made me laugh. And then also like that last part towards the end where it was like kind of a Carrie moment. That felt like it went on forever 'cause she was just spinning and it was
It was
just
so long.
that made me laugh too because of how long it felt. And I was like, this I feel like I've been sitting here watching her spin and do this for a very long time now. And it really was. It was like it was minutes, like for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I do think I liked it a lot. I think it was fun. Um Tony definitely thought I think he did not like it as much as I did, but he was just so grossed out by it.
Yeah, Ben and I we watched some like YouTuber that he likes their top 10 movies of the year, and that was their number one. And Ben at the end was like, "Did you see any movies that you want to watch? Like, anything you're interested in?" I was like, "Yeah, but I think anything that I'm interested in, you would hate any of the body horror stuff." He does not like blood, so that's maybe not good for him.
Riley, did you see Nosferatu?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I feel like I enjoyed it and I don't regret seeing it, which is not true of a lot of movies I watch. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the I think the part I didn't like the most was the girl and the like exorcism parts. Like it felt like half of it was Dracula and then half of it was just like the exorcism. Like where the girl's like flopping around. Like there's so much of her shaking and I was just like I it's not like scary to me and so I don't know what it's for, but I don't know. What did you think?
I thought it was okay. I think it was long. Like it was long, but not it wasn't like purposefully long. I don't I was
Yeah.
not tired, okay? Like but I felt there was like points where I felt like I was like I was falling asleep a little bit, but I the acting was great. I thought everyone did. I thought all of the actors and actresses were awesome. But I just felt like it was, like, so ridiculously long. At first, I was like, "Okay, maybe it's more of, like, a slow burn," but I was just like, I don't know, even towards the end, I was like, I was not even satisfied with that. So, I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it. Um, it was beautiful, cinematography was great, acting was great, but I think it was just too long for me.
How long was it? I didn't even realize.
It was, like, a little over 2 hours.
Okay. And have you seen that like original Dracula story? And I know they've done it like a million times, but because it's basically the same story as Dracula, or
Haven't seen really any, like, Dracula movies, and I didn't see the original, so I didn't really have anything to, I guess, base it off of.
Yeah, I think I watched Dracula the 1931 one like this year, and it's the same story because that was based off of Nosferatu. And so like I knew what the story arc was. Like I knew what the whole arc was going to be, and maybe that's why I wasn't as like bored with it because I knew it
Yeah.
was kind of, a slow it was just kind of a I don't know, it's not like a really complicated story. But I really
Mhm.
liked the beginning more too, I think. Like I think one of my favorite parts was just the part where he's going over to the Dracula's like castle or Nosferatu's castle, and it feels like a nightmare. Like cuz there's a lot of parts that aren't really continuous, like it doesn't really make a lot of sense the way he's like traveling there. He just kind of like they just kind of cut to different places, and I feel like it's supposed to feel kind of like nightmarish. I
Mhm.
thought that was really like, I don't know, vibey and fun.
Yeah. I think Nicholas Holt did a really good job. I mean, he he really looked it. I mean, when he goes to see Count Orlok and he's like in his castle for the first time, I mean, and he's in his presence, I felt on edge. Like, whenever Count Orlok was on screen, I was like, I was really like, I was kind of nervous myself. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was just too long for me. But I don't think it made it bad. It was just that I don't know. That was just the thing. It was like I wasn't really feeling like there was a reason for it to be so long. That was all. But other than
Yeah.
that, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I really liked Count Orlok as a character. Like he was a cool Nosferatu. He was a cool Dracula. I don't know. Nosferatu isn't even the name of it's what is that even the name of?
I think so. From what I was getting from the movie was that it's like an event almost like he's bringing on Nosferatu, like it's the plague is there now in in that town.
Okay.
Because I also was not quite sure. Like when I first started the movie, I was like, "Why is it called Nosferatu if his name is Count Orlok?" So, but that was what I was getting from the movie.
Yeah, I thought I had heard something. Like I think the original name of the thing, I think it was a play or something. The original like story, I think it was called Nosferatu, but I don't remember. It might have been the same thing where they like there was a plague called Nosferatu in the play.
I just found apparently it's a little bit unknown, but it's believed to be the like synonymous for the Romanian word for vampire.
Okay, yeah.
Mm.
Because they kind of called him Nosferatu, or like yeah, like you said, the event of his presence and the darkness.
Yeah.
I think I also just really like Willem Dafoe, and so like any movie that puts him
Yeah,
on screen, I'm just like, oh, this is great.
yeah. Seriously, he's awesome. Like the last movie I saw him in was in the Lighthouse, and it was the same director as the one who directed Nosferatu also. And you just it's fun to see like these like very common working relationships that these actors have with these directors because they just like such enjoy each other's work. But I love Willem Dafoe. He's like so I don't know, he's so wild, he's so into it, and he's great.
Make any snowmen or do any snow activities. I guess for us it was kind of rare. I feel like it never snows here, and it snowed, so.
I didn't. I know a bunch of my classmates on campus did. There was like one day, well, I think it was semester was still going, and we got like not much, a couple inches of snow, but it was good packing snow.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it was one person or a bunch of people, but we came in and the quad that's in the middle of campus was just full of snowmen. There was just like a bunch of snowmen like this big, and there was probably like 150 of them.
Oh my God.
It was really impressive.
I'd love to see that many snowmen at once. I don't think I've seen that many ever.
There's a couple around our apartment complex. I think the kids had a fun time because there's like two or three I've seen, and they're still holding up. It's like surprising nothing's melted yet.
Yeah, Ben got out skiing this last weekend, but he's going to go out again this coming weekend because there's a ski hill kind of near us ish that's they got 3 feet of snow
Oh wow.
last weekend. So
Wow.
I'm assuming they probably are going to get more this week. He said it was like some of the best skiing he's ever had.
That's crazy. So, because there was like a storm here, I think it had a name, but did that guys hit you, or you just guys got a lot of snow?
We get lake effect, so it might have been the same like weather event, but we get hit really hard because of the way the wind blows off of the lakes.
Mm. Yeah, it was like I think they closed schools like even it snowed like Monday, I think. And that like even my work, they were like, "Oh, you should probably work from home through Wednesday." And it's like it stopped snowing on Monday. Like the roads are clear, like or at least the highways are clear. I don't know why everyone's like, "No, we should just stay home."
Yeah, why not? Just
I
love a
wouldn't
snow day.
I wouldn't complain. I'd be like, yeah, okay, sure. I see all the snow you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like up here, I think it's not as big of a deal because like we get, yeah, maybe the last couple of years, I feel like we haven't had big snow events, but like I learned how to drive in 2 feet of snow. Like that was the first thing my dad made sure of when I learned how to drive. Was like, you might spin out, but it's not going to be because you were driving badly. It's going to be because like the weather conditions were so bad that nothing else would have happened. But people here drive so badly. Like anytime there's like a fraction of snow on the ground, everyone drops down to like 5 miles an hour. We live actually at the base of a valley too, and the main road that goes down into the valley and back up are like fairly steep. It's not a small hill. And it's the kind of thing where like it's that balance where it makes you feel more confident to go more slowly, but like so many people wipe out on the hill because they come to a crawl that then they just like slowly slide off into a ditch. Whereas if they just kind of had any momentum, they could just kind of power through it and they'd be fine. And people just, I don't know, people just panic. So anytime there's a snow day, I'm not going to complain because then I don't have to drive with all those other people.
Yeah, like I live an hour away from Hannah, and it's the same thing over here. Like it's we're no stranger to snow, but it's like when the snow hits, people like forget that like snow's a thing, and
Yeah.
then it really is like because I live on a hill, and so
Yeah.
oftentimes I'll like if I see someone ahead of me, I will pull over because uh 9 times out of 10 that person ahead of me will be crawling up the hill, and it's happened before because I've seen it. Like maybe I've been 2 cars behind someone who's been like crawling up the hill real slow, and I'm like, you gotta get some little bit of speed up there and just keep that
Hmm.
momentum because you will fall right back down, you'll fall to the side, you might slide into the oncoming lane. So I'll pull over and wait until no one's in front of me so I can just power up it because that's how it works. And I've never had an issue. I'm not just, but I'm not gonna like gun it though because then I could totally spin out. But I'll build up some speed and then I'll kind of like stay at that speed and be keep it steady all the way up the hill, and that's fine. And also
Yeah.
too, they keep our hill because I think it's there's like a school nearby on
Mm.
top of that hill with us, so it's like they're gonna keep it very clean too and salted, and they do most of the time. So that's the other thing is like if people are doing that and it's like maybe the snow's just falling or maybe it's just getting colder, like, and now things are starting to turn to ice, and maybe the plows or the salt trucks haven't been passed yet or something like that, yeah, okay, then you'll probably have to be more careful. But 9 times out of 10 it's not the problem. It's
Yeah.
really just the other drivers.
Yeah, I love my little Subaru. I always love driving through snow because I've never worried about it. Like sometimes you fishtail a little bit if you hit a corner and it's like slushy, but I don't know. I love being able to just drive normally in snow.
That was like I remember like going to school like where I grew up in Michigan, and when there was really bad like snowstorms, my road, it'd be like one road and then another road, like two country roads I have to go down before I get on a main road that was usually clear. And that was always kind of the fun part was like turning onto the main road, I'd always like slide a little because
Yeah.
there's like the snow going into the asphalt, and I don't know, it was kind of fun. I always look forward to that because it's not a lot. You just like yeah, like you slip a little. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, if no one else is around, it's kind of fun. Like as long as you got some control over the situation. But like, I like kind of like driving in snow. I like the like drifting a little bit.
Yeah. I I also still remember actually, did you guys have this where when I was younger, since I'm the youngest, I think both of my brothers at some point drove us to school, like when they had gotten their license, they would drive us because my
Hmm.
mom, she didn't have to. Did you guys ever have that?
Mm, I think the gap might be too big for my siblings because by the time we were going to the same school, like we had 1 year of overlap, and then they both graduated. I might have
Oh,
missed that
yeah.
window. My dad would drop me off sometimes though.
And were they so your schools weren't like close by? Because I think our
No,
schools were all right in a row, like
no, we
elementary,
live like
middle, high
half an
school.
hour away.
Really? Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. Was
But I
that
grew up on a farm. Like I was out in the country.
Yeah, but I mean like the schools were together. I don't know.
Oh,
I was out
no.
far away, but the schools all like lined up. I don't know.
Kind of. Our middle school and high school were attached,
Oh
but
yeah.
our elementary schools were all scattered around. So like
Okay.
my elementary school was 10 minutes away, but the other two in the district were like half hour to 45 minutes away.
My older brother never dropped me off, but he was either in school himself or like he was away at college. So, and also my schools were they weren't as far as Hannah's. Like I want to say like my elementary school and high school. Well, my high school was very close. I lived around the corner from my high school, but my elementary school and middle school, they were fairly close. But my parents would always just drop me off in the morning because they'd just have to. It'd be like on the way for them to work, anyways. So it wasn't that big of a deal for them. To under 10-minute drive for those things. But for high school, I just
Okay.
walked right around the corner and then made it there.
Yeah, because I still have memories of like when it was snowy and my brother had to drive us to school, like he'd carve out like this much spot on the windshield to see from, and then he'd start going. And we were like 10 minutes away, and it'd be like 10 minutes from when school started. Like it was last minute. And I was always like, I hope we're okay.
My brother used to he rode four-wheelers all around our property because again, lived on a farm, so we had a couple acres across the road that he made like four-wheeling trails through. We had like a little tiny little quarry that you'd be able to go down and back up again. Um, and then kind of like a swampy area where you could get some like really muddy trails going. And I fell for this so many times. I was not a smart kid, apparently. He would convince me to go out with him, but I was not big enough to have my own four-wheeler. And
Mm.
so I would sit on the back and, hang on for dear life. And then we'd get out into the woods, like acres away from home, and he'd go in this like little ditch. He'd rev it so that his rear tires would spin in the mud. And be like, we're stuck. You got to get off so I can like push it out of the ditch. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And I'd climb off, and then he'd gun it, and he'd leave me there.
Oh my god.
Dang, dude.
And like for me, little child me, I'm like horrified. I like cry and I'm terrified, and I'm like, I'll never go out with you again. And then of course I do because I'm a little kid and I don't know any better. I'm really not that far away from home, so it's like my parents didn't even really care that much because realistically, I was like, I don't know, I was across the road and then like a few hundred yards into the woods, so it wasn't that far. But I fell for it probably like half a dozen times before I finally refused to go out with him anymore. He was a bully.
Such brother stuff. I feel like as a youngest child, I'm like, what joy do you get? What joy do you get from that? Like, it's not even beneficial to you. It's just watching your sibling get stressed out.
Yeah, but now I like kind of get it sometimes. Not to that extent. I would not do that to a little kid, but he's the father of my nieces. And he loves to like just lie. He just like makes stuff up for them. Like whenever they ask a question, comes up with this like ridiculous story, and then their mom is like, "No, that's not what it is." And so they know just like to not listen to him whenever they ask a question. The problem is like it's actually a lot more fun to do than you think. And so when I'm around, he'll lie and then I'll lie, and then they're like doubly confused because now someone's on his side, and they're like, "Oh, now there's more people saying this thing than the other thing." So I have to check myself cuz it's really tempting to lie to little kids cuz they'll just believe anything. So I do get it a little bit better now that I'm older.
I used to date this guy who had a little brother that would just like straight up just lie to you, even though like whatever he's lying about, you clearly saw him just do, right?
Mhm.
And it's just so like I love seeing those because it's like those kids that try to do that because it's like what where's the argument? Like what is your leg
Yeah.
to stand on, kid? Like he'll do something like turn the light off in the room that everyone's in and talking and hanging out in, and would be like, Nicholas, why did you turn the light off? And he'd be like, I didn't turn the light off. But everyone saw him come in and turn the light off. And you're like, how are you planning to get away from this, huh? There's another time There's another time one of his other siblings was telling me about, because we were making fun of him one time about it, and because apparently he's done this to every family member at some point, and it's just like they just had to share stories. He was in the back seat of one of their cars, and as his brother was driving, he looked in the rearview mirror and saw Nicholas in the back like eat out of, like, so they were like taking chips out of a bag. They're all sharing chips on a road trip. He takes the bag, licks the inside of the chip bag that everyone was sharing from, and then his brother in the driver's seat was like, "Nicholas, stop that! Why did you lick the inside of the bag?" And then he's just like, "I didn't lick the inside of the bag," and I'm just like, "Man, I should just start doing that shit now as an adult. I should just start doing shit and just be like, I didn't do that. What do you mean?" Should just start doing that shit at work.
Just do it, Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a phase that like I feel like lots of kids go through where they're really pedantic about shit and it's super annoying. I kind of prefer the lying because at least then it's kind of funny. But like a lot of Ben's like his cousins are starting to grow out of it. They're a little bit older now, but now my nieces are getting to that age where it's like we went and saw a couple of his cousins recently, and there's three of them. There's the oldest, the middle kid, and then the little one. The little one's like barely older than a toddler. They're like 3, 5, and 8 or something like that. And the 5-year-old, she's mean. She's kind of a bully, and not in a nice way either. Like she's just like she gets jealous super easily. She just like takes toys. Like she's nasty, and she would just like hit her brother. She'd just like punch him and be like, "Girl, you can't punch your brother." She's like, "Well, I didn't punch him." We're like, "We watched you do that." She's like, "Well, I didn't punch him. I hit him." And we're like,
Aw.
"Okay, but you can't hit him either." She's like, "Well, I didn't hit him." And like, "Yes, you just admitted that you hit him."
Hmm.
And you'll just go in this circle with her, and it's like, you are such a little shit. Ugh, like there's no point in arguing with them. So I kind of like the lying phase better because I think it's funnier.
I never had like younger siblings and I don't even have really younger anything. But the one time I remember interacting with the youth was when I was in high school. I volunteered to
Youth.
like help kids who were like bad at reading to like read in this like after school program. So I'd like go to the library and they'd like assign me like one year I got these two little girls that I think were friends. And I don't know
Mhm.
the age range. Like I just know that they were kind of small, but they looked kind of like people still. I don't know. I don't know what age that is.
I know it. I feel like I know what you're saying. It's just like the wording is like extra funny.
Like
Like
8 or 9, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because it doesn't seem like preteen. It was like too young to be preteen, I feel
Yeah,
like.
but not like a toddler or like a little
Yeah,
kid.
not like cute. They were
Yeah.
super mean because I volunteered because it was like I think it was like my brother's like girlfriend at the time was like in it and she was like, "Oh, you should do it." And so I was there with these two other like young women who were like in high school and they were just like they would bully us. Like they bully each other, but then they bully us. Like I think they said something derogatory about our like appearance like every single time I was there. Like, "Oh, you shouldn't wear your hair like that," or like, "Why do your eyebrows look like that?" Or I think they called like told one of them the girls she had like chicken legs. It's just like, where do you even learn to be this mean? Like so rude.
Oh my god.
that reminds me is like way back in the day. Way back in the day, Tony and I when we were just friends, we were like at a park, and there were these kids that came up to us, and they were just like, "Are you guys dating?" And we were like, "No." And then they were just like, immediate next question, "Are you guys brother and sister?" And I was like, "Whoa."
You should start with that one. Start with the other one.
Like I just like the young mind, man.
Kids are so stupid. Ben's little nephew does the funniest thing, and I've started getting yelled at because I don't care. Like, I'm an aunt. It doesn't matter to me, like, encouraging behaviors or whatever. I laugh at everything that kids do that I think is funny. Like, and so he's like what, 1.5 maybe. He's not really speaking super well, but they taught him like some sign language, especially for food time. And so like he knows more, he knows all done. Like he knows a couple of signs so that they can kind of get through eating easier. But he's getting older now too, that he's like a little more impulsive and like knows what he wants, but he can't really convey it super well. And so now he does this thing that when he's done eating, or he says he's done eating, and his mom will be like, "Okay, you're all done," and he does the hand wavy thing. He'll do the hand wave now, but then he'll look at his plate, see there's food left, and then shove it into his mouth really, really fast, and then wave his hands again. And
What?
he did that. He had like a dozen blueberries on his plate that night, and he just shoveled them into his mouth like a little squirrel, and then like sat there with his cheeks full, and was like, "I'm all done." And I like was crying. I was laughing so hard. And his sister was like, "You've got to get your shit together because you're gonna start teaching him that this is good." And I'm like, "I can't help it."
I laugh when my niece does really bad things, but I have to like go into the other room because I don't want her to be like, Auntie thinks this is funny, so it must be
I
fine.
know.
Dude, she hit her mom with like this toy hammer. It was like 2 Christmases ago or something like that. She just fucking wailed on my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law was so mad, of course. So she was just like, okay, playtime's over. But Tony and I were there and we had to like stuff ourselves. Like we had to be
Yeah.
like I had to I had to like I had to hide myself
Oh.
because I was just like, oh god, my sister-in-law's gonna get pissed at me too because she fucking sees me laughing. But yeah, I thought that shit was too funny because I know I would be mad too if my niece did that to me, but I don't know, man. I
Oh.
was laughing.
Yeah, I'm out of practice. I got really good with my nieces for a while there, but now they're old enough that it doesn't matter. And he's just finally getting to the age where he's learning. And I'm like, oh, I've got to learn how to hide my laughter again. I'm not ready.
So I had one question, which
Mhm.
I just keep thinking about these. I'm calling them like in my head, I'm calling them like NPCs that are in my life. They're mostly just my neighbors, but I was wondering if you guys had any like people in your life that are like reoccurring characters, but they're like not your friends. They're just always there and they're doing something weird. Because like the one that comes to mind first was my neighbor across the hall. I should probably talk quietly because she might hear me. But she's just this like I think she's just a single lady who's like a little older than me, but she has these like two dogs. At first she just had one dog, and then she got like a duplicate. I swear she cloned it, but this new one's louder. And he's just like constantly yapping. And like lately she's been like just kind of walking around the hall with them. Like she's not going anywhere. She's not like coming or leaving. She just like lets them walk around. I don't know. Maybe it's because she's across the hall, but like sometimes, like for a while there was a guy that was like sometimes coming around, and I was like, is this like your boyfriend? But I haven't seen him in a while, and I'm just like, I don't know, very invested in her life.
I definitely do that with the neighbors that are around me, like at my complex. Like we're on the edge of one unit, so we only have like one immediate neighbor to our right. And in the beginning, she was a little more. She had a lot going on in the beginning. Like she would like party. It was like tiny bit annoying for us because she'd be like party in the middle of the night and on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and I'd be like, girl. And it wasn't even like she didn't have a regular 9 to 5 or anything because she went to work at the same time I did. So like, and she'd come home around the same time I did. But then it'd be like a Wednesday, and then her friends would come over at like 9:30, and that's when they would start drinking. And then she'd have like she had like I could tell that she didn't have like Spotify or anything because I could hear her blasting the same songs off of like a Pandora radio station that she picked that she really likes. And she'd like put it on a wall closer to ours so I could actually hear some of the songs. I think I might have mentioned her briefly in the past. She's very she seems like she's very nice, but she's one of those people who like she's got resting bitch face, but she also looks like she definitely could back that up. Like it's probably true. Like she could if I went over there and complained about the noise, she might punch me in the face. So neither of us have been like, we just like we're just gonna deal with it, like we'll just listen to music or like it'll be fine. Like we'll we'll try to like put some furniture in the way so maybe it could absorb more sound or something like that. And we'll just whatever. But she's been living there for a few years now, and she's died down from the partying in the middle of the week at late at night. But Yeah, no, I definitely count her and like some of the other people around here as NPCs, and like I'll watch them sometimes. I think there was one time one random neighbor around here that moved in was like asking out another one, and I was like super
Ooh.
invested. I felt like Shia LaBeouf in like Disturbia. I was like, oh my god, I need binoculars and I need like a balcony to just be like, yeah, I'm reading, but I'm really just like take out my binoculars and be like, what's going on over there?
I think I get invested too quickly. I think that's my problem. It's like people, there's not like an in between for me a lot of the time. Like if I get to know somebody, I get like really invested in learning more about them. So most people, as soon as I like have that first conversation, I'm like they're buddies. Because I'm thinking like our neighbors on this side, the ones who are snowblowing their lawn, super nice, lovely older couple. Like I've given each other cookies and like we chat
Mhm.
in the summers and stuff like that. Like they're really lovely people. Whereas I don't know that I've had like one conversation with all of the rest of my neighbors and never again, never seen them again. They're around, they're somewhere out there. But I feel, I don't know if other people do this, but like you ever get really attached to people you see over and over again? Like
Mhm.
I started going to the gym back in the middle of like December-ish. And there's this one guy, like I don't even have a very good like set routine time that I go, but he's there almost every single time that I go. Never spoken to him. We both wear headphones. Like, I think once I asked him if I could use the bench that he was standing next to. But I just see him so often now that I'm like, oh, he's here. Cool. Like, I don't know that we've ever even made eye contact. Like, I couldn't tell you what his name is. I don't know what his routine is. Like, I just know that he's always there. And then, like, if someone else moves in and, like, is in his spot, it's like, oh, but what if that guy shows up? Like,
Yeah, I'm totally like that. I'm like that, but then not the other part where I actually talk to people. Like how you're saying you like actually hang out with your neighbor. I'm just like I get attached to people without ever talking to them constantly.
yeah. They usually have to initiate that first. Like, if this guy never speaks to me, we'll never have a conversation. That's fine. I think of it kind of the same as like if you're ever driving on the highway and you like get in line with a car and you're going exactly the same speed, like you're
Mm.
both on cruise control, and then when they like finally pull off at an exit, it's like, oh, there's my buddy.
Yeah.
Just like attached to them for no reason.
I was thinking of it in the other way. Like it was making me think of way when you're like you say goodbye to someone and then you don't realize that you're like parked in the same direction. And you're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
bye. And then you just like you guys just walking and you're like, oh,
Oh.
we parked like right next to each other. Oh shit.
Yeah, there's another couple in our building. I don't know what floor they're on, but they're like crazy. They are so like not real to me in my head. They're this like middle-aged white couple and they're always so energetic. They're always like so positive. Like they seem like they're like always coming back from like Trader Joe's or something. Like you get in the elevator with them and they're like always gonna say something. Always just like, "Oh, hi, how's it going? Like how's the weather out there?" Like like you could tell me they're on coke and I'd be like, "Yeah, that sounds right." But it was crazy because Tino went to go vote last September or whatever that was, November. And he said he saw them there and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy. Like what are the chances that you just like run into them?" And he was like, "Oh no, they were like volunteering. Like they were there like
Oh,
handing out things and being like, "Oh, please like vote," or like, you know how people do that. And I was like, "That's so on
yeah.
brand for them." They're just like I don't even know how to explain it. It's so on brand.
It's funny that you mentioned that though, because I was just cleaning up my office some, and I actually found this pin that I had gotten a couple years ago because I think I've talked about this before. I used to work at a Renaissance festival in the summers, but all my friends were like, they're all weird. There's a bunch of weird characters. They're exactly the type of people you'd expect to see at a Renaissance fair. And then there was me, who was just kind of like, I was kind of there, just kind of in the background, just playing supporting cast. And I got a button that says NPC because I was like, I feel like I'm kind of just like the side character who's like here to support people and not like those guys are the main characters. I'm just kind of here.
That's so cute. I've never been to a Ren fair, but I want to go. I might have gone when I was really little. I don't remember it though. But I would love to go as an adult. I love dressing up for no reason. Well, that's a reason, but you know what I mean.
I'd love to go again. I went once, like, I don't know. It was a super long time ago with an old friend, and it was fun. But I feel like it's been such a long time, and I also think that we didn't really spend too much time there because it would think it was like we we're on the way to something else, and then someone that we're traveling with were like, "Oh, the Renaissance Fair is over here. If you guys want to check it out," we're like, "Yeah, sure. Never been to one." So I think it was like kind of in passing more so too. So
Mm.
I would love to like also spend a little more time, like maybe dedicate a whole day to spending the day there.
Yeah, especially like a good, like one of the state ones, because sometimes you get the little pocket ones, and those are fun, but they tend to run a little expensive for not as much stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, but like probably good for you, Riley, is the Maryland Renaissance Festival is like one of the most well-known ones on the East Coast. It's
Mm.
huge. I have a couple friends who like work crew and cast there, and it's a big place. And they run, I think, for like several months. One of my friends is like a stage manager there, and he works for like 4 or 5 months straight.
Dang. It says like August through October they've got dates. It's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nonstop.
That sounds fun.
I recommend it. It's a good time.
Did you dress up when you were working them, and did you have like a specific thing, or was it just like generic fantasy stuff?
Just generic. I mean, the main reason I even had any garb was because I was friends with a lot of the like vendors and stuff. So
Mm.
I had a couple of staple pieces, but then usually what I would do is like the day before we opened, I would go around and be like, "Hey, do you want me to? I'm going to be running around the grounds the whole time, like helping people, talking to people." Um, and so they would like give me a piece of their clothing that I could wear, so that when people asked, like, "Oh, where'd you get this?" I could redirect them to booths and stuff.
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, so I only have a couple of pieces myself,
Mm.
but yeah, it was kind of just generic, just whatever people put me in.
So you're like walking marketing for them too,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, kind of just a catch-all.
then.
My main thing was I helped like the stage managers, so I just was kind of their gopher. If anybody needed anything, I'd run around and grab it. But then eventually the stages got big enough that they had like proper teams, and so then I became like market support. So any of the vendors that knew me, like I would step in if they needed a lunch break or wanted to go to an event. So I'd work booths and stuff like that. But I didn't have a character. Most of my friends did. I had a friend who was Peter Pan, like a lost boy kind of a
Mm.
vibe. Some friends who like would dress up like satyrs, mermaids, a couple things like that. So a lot of my friends were like they were cast members. They had specific roles that they would fill, and then people could interact with them like as their character.
Kind of related, but I would totally be an actor in like a haunted attraction or like a scary attraction, but I would never go to it in person. Like
Wait, like you
as a
never go
visitor.
through it, but you do
Yeah,
the
that's what
behind the
I mean.
scenes? Okay.
Yeah, I'd totally love to be the one scaring people, but I wouldn't want to be the one being scared. Like I like if movies and video games is perfectly fine for me if it's horror, but the moment it's like someone can like reach out and touch me, I'd be like, "Whoa, buddy!" I, yeah, and I can't because I will assault someone. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. I'll be very upset. And I know Tony would be like, "Oh yeah, well, you could wear like the glow in the dark bracelets that signify like no touchy." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. They're still right there. They're still scary to me. I'm not the one scaring them. I have to be. That's the role I have to play. I can't go as a visitor. I can't pay money to do that. No, sorry."
Would you want to be like the chainsaw guy, or like I guess I don't
I'll
know
do
if you, yeah,
anything to be on the other side of it. I think
because
it would be fun.
I feel like they always have a chainsaw guy at the end, and I'm always very scared of him, honestly.
Yeah.
So that would be a fun one to do.
Have you ever seen like the Knott's Berry Farm? Their like Halloween setup. I think they like changed their. I don't know if they have different handles or if they have different accounts or whatever, but I think they changed it to Knott's Scary Farm. It looks pretty intensive. I get reels for one of the actresses sometimes, and she is terrifying. Like she gets up in people's faces. They're like full characters. I'm always really impressed with like the quality of it, but I actually like I don't think I could do that. I think I'd probably run away from somebody.
Well, normally you're running anyway, right? Or you're walking, and you can run if you want.
She's got these knee pads. They're like rollerblading knee pads, and so she like will get running full speed and then skid on her knees and like to like run at people or kids if they're lower to the ground. Terrifying.
That's awesome. I would totally do that.
It's really cool.
They have a water
Reels.
park here? Oh, they have a water park at these. Oh, it's a whole like a section of parks, plural?
I
Because
think
I'm
it's
looking
a yeah. I think Knott's Berry Farm is like an amusement.
It's like a whole
because
big
I
thing.
because
Hmm.
I'm on their website and I like there's a location selector and you can choose which park. So I guess like maybe there's some where it's straight up like in LA, Knott's Berry Farm, but then there's some where it's like we're at Six Flags in LA, Magic Mountain. There's like a section for their haunted attractions and stuff like that.
Okay.
They got a lot of different Arizona, lots of California. I'm assuming that's where that makes sense if that's where they originated from. Georgia, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New
You're just
Jersey, New
naming all the
York.
states.
It's basically North Carolina, Ohio. Yeah, they got they're set up in pretty much. They even got some in some Mexican theme parks too, and they're also in Canada. Yeah, I've never even heard of them before.
Yeah, me either. That's pretty cool though. I was thinking California, you probably could get a ton of like out of work actors. They'd probably be
No,
really good.
for sure, especially if it's for a season, right? So like they can
Yeah.
do that, and then maybe while they're working that, they can find other work for to fill in the off season time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of their characters are like reoccurring. People go each year with like the intent of seeing a specific person.
Oh, that's cool. Must be pretty good quality too. If like people go and they're just like, "Oh, that person was so scary. I hope we go like I hope when we go next year or whatever or later on, they're there so I can show you this person." I feel like
Yeah.
that shows you like the quality that they put into the characters and stuff. It's not like that stupid you guys heard about I don't think we talked about it on here, but Caney Manor. It's that guy that has like a billion-page waiver, and he's like, you have to sign this in order to go through it. I need like doctor's clearances so that you can go through it. And like, he like ran it out of his house originally, and now it like sucks or something. It's basically just like you can just sign to for them to basically like abuse you, and
Jeez.
you can't like go you can't because of what you sign is basically like we're not liable for any damage physical or mental that we do to you or that's incurred afterwards.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't know if he's still running it. I'm sure that someone must have found some way to like sue him by now that went through it and was not very happy with their experience, but I remember originally when like he opened it up, the wait list was like I don't know, could have been a year more long. And because he
Whoa.
was like when he originally opened it up, it was like only for the Halloween season, but then it became so popular because people were like, "What's in there?" And it was like part of the waiver, I think, was you cannot talk about what your experience was because they wanted to keep it secret and fresh for everyone who came in through it. But yeah, I'm sure it's like either shut down or close to being shut down by now because I think he started a while ago.
That's crazy. I feel like I see like advertisements for those every once in a while that are the, sign away every right or whatever and go stay in a place for 24 hours and they'll just like straight up torture you. It's like
Yeah,
why would you pay money for that?
yeah,
Is that fun?
Mm.
I would never do it.
Same.
I can't even go to the regular fake one. Never do that, you know what I mean? Even when you Google it too, it's like it's funny the way that someone wrote this on Wikipedia. McCamey Manor is an American torturer, torturers in quotations, haunted house attraction in which survival horror style events are enacted.
What the heck?
So crazy.
I did want to mention, I was gonna bring it up before. It's kind of going back to the movies and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
are there any movies, TV shows, or anything else that you guys are looking forward to coming out this year so far that you've heard or seen?
I don't think it's out yet. Mickey 17 is coming out this year, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot
I'm
about
really
that.
excited for that.
Yeah,
Mm.
March 7th.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, I gotta put that on my list. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, Companion, that was the one I think you shared the trailer to me and Riley before. It was like the creators of Barbarian. That one
Hmm.
just looks weird. I have no idea what it's even about. I've seen the trailer twice now, and I still couldn't tell you what it's supposed to be about. But I'm excited about that. Hopefully that's good. And then
Yeah.
Presence is another one, where it's like the movie's all from the point of view of a ghost.
Yeah.
Um, that one seems interesting. And then there was another one I saw a trailer for while we were waiting to watch Nosferatu, but it's called The Damned. And it's supposed to take place in an Icelandic fishing village. And it all starts with like a ship. I think it's supposed to be a foreign ship sinks off the coast of their like where they are. I don't think they're an island, but maybe they're close to the water. Makes sense though, because they're a fishing village. But they see a ship and it sinks, and I think after that shit kind of hits the fan. And the vibe of it kind of was making me think of like if you mix maybe the village with the witch, but put it in a fishing village or something like that.
Hmm.
I don't know. The trailer looked fun and a bit spooky, so I'm interested in that. And I think these are all actually. When is this one supposed to come out?
It says The Damned might be out now.
Okay, so then maybe I should check then for like streaming services. Let me see.
I know so many places are or films are getting like limited releases, and so now I never know when stuff comes out because it's like available for 2 days and then it doesn't actually get released for streaming for like 6 months.
Ah, damn. That's probably the case then with this one because it says release date for The Damned is January 3rd of this year. So yeah, that's probably what happened. It
I
was
mean,
in theaters for
I'm
a
seeing
little bit.
showtimes for mine,
Oh,
for
really?
my theaters. Yeah, they're saying it's
Well,
playing.
because it's the 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out.
So like when
Yeah,
yeah.
but I didn't see any showtimes in my areas.
Oh.
Oh
That's why I
yeah,
was figuring that it's either like limited locations and then
probably.
times probably.
Yeah, because the 2024 date is just for the Tribeca Film Festival. Yeah, we have one film time.
Yeah, like one
Apply
per
us.
day. One time a
Yeah,
day.
exclusive.
It is.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Not in my area, unfortunately. So
Dang.
that's probably something
Limited
I'm just gonna have to
theaters.
stream in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, Presence and Companion and Mickey 17 then.
Yep. I keep getting ads for Wolfman.
It looks bad. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think I'm interested in it.
I think I saw the first time I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that could be good. And then I saw it a second time and I like watched it closer and I'm like,
Yeah.
is it though?
Alright. Well, you guys want to talk about anything else before we wrap?
Nope.
I don't think I have anything.
Alrighty. Well, until next time.